So please rise in body or spirit so we can sing our opening hymn.
Which is number 355. We lift our hearts in thanks. We lift our hearts in thanks today for all the gifts of life, and first for peace that turns away the enmities of strife, and next the beauty of the earth, its flowers and lovely things, but spring's great miracles of birth with sound of song and wings, then harvest of its teeming soil in orchards, croft, and field, but more the service of the toil of those who help them yield, and most the gifts of hope and love, of wisdom, truth, and right, the gifts that shine like stars above to chart the world by night.
Good morning. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Salem, Oregon, or, as it is affectionately known to our members and friends, UUCS. My name is Janet, and I get to be your celebrant today. Later in this service, we'll be hearing from Gregg, who is a member of our Homilist and Storyteller team. We are grateful for the gift of your presence. We know you came here on this beautiful, going to be sunny, we hope, and not too muggy, Sunday morning for a variety of reasons. Maybe you are here to find community or to find meaning in your life. Perhaps you're full of questions and want to explore new ideas, or maybe you came to this sanctuary to find a friend, or just to nurture your soul. We know that you come from different backgrounds, and we all follow a variety of spiritual beliefs. We hope that in this community, you will find comfort and connection, answers and questions, and most of all, love. Please stick around after the service today. As we do each week, we will gather in Hanneman Hall for coffee or maybe cold beverages if it warms up, which and a snack. Usually they're really good at snacks. That's the one thing we're really good at. And good conversation. Welcome. Each week, we remind ourselves of our commitment to this community by joining together to speak our affirmation out loud. Please join me. Love is our doctrine. Compassion is our way. Here we seek to create a joyful home for free religious exploration, build a community of caring fellowship, nurture the hopes, and serve the needs of our world.
I'm going to do an original song that I wrote back in 1980, which is actually still relevant. Some of my songs go by the wayside, being topical, but this one's about switching to solar energy. It's called Sun Power. We've got the power in the sky, and it's more than enough to get us by. Her energy makes all life grow, only with the sun's warm glow. She keeps us warm in the summer with her gentle healing rays. She can keep us warm in the winter if we'll only learn the ways. Safe and warm for all our days. Here comes the chorus. Sun power, sun bright, sun shower us with light. No more danger, no more risk. With the sun's bright golden disk. Ever since we split the atom, it's been hanging like a sword, building weapons and reactors for energy we can't afford. It can no longer be ignored. But sun power, sun bright, sun shower us with light. No more danger, no more risk. With the sun's bright golden disk. We are the crucial generation who must protect our progeny. It's true the sun's no new creation, but solar is the strategy to avoid a nuclear tragedy. With sun power, sun bright. Let that sun shower us with light. And no more danger, no more risk, no, with the sun's bright golden disk. Sun power, sun bright, sun shower us with light. No more danger, no more risk, with the sun's bright golden disk.
Thank you, Mark. It's our tradition here at UUCS to light 3 chalices as we begin each Sunday service. We light the first chalice for our members, friends, guests, and all those also watching us on YouTube. The next is for our partner church, which is located in Szymanfalva, Transylvania, Romania. You have no idea how long it took me to learn to say that. And we light the lantern for the children and youth, those in religious exploration, and for children everywhere. These chalices are symbols of our faith, or perhaps I should say our faiths. They are beacons of hope, of possibility, of wisdom and connection. They shine for everyone. No exceptions.
Let's put that in the right place. Rise up, O flame, by thy light glowing, show us the beauty, vision, and joy.
Hi, everyone. I was wondering if there's anybody who would like to come forward, maybe some children or those who are young at heart would like to come up and listen to a little bit of a story. I have something to share with you today. It's about change. Change is like the ocean. Have you ever been to the ocean? You have? At the beach? You have. Did you see the waves? And the waves, they kind of come in, and then they go back out. That's called an ebb and flow. And they come back again, and then they go out. And then they come back again, and then they go out. And it changes the sand. Yes, the sand does get wet. You have been at the beach with your family. Families are good things to be with. Well, change is really a part of life. It's a part of all the things around us, like plants, right? A seed will go into the ground and it will grow a plant. So you're growing sunflowers and flowers and plants, and after the plant grows green for a while, then it makes a flower. And it can make food on the trees. And seeds. So after a while, maybe the flowers fade and they go away, but they put their seeds back in the ground. And then what happens? They grow again. Oh, I see. Well, let me tell you a little bit more about the things I would like you to do. Let me tell you a little bit more about how things change, okay? Because you know what else? Seasons change. Right now it's summer. And yesterday it was sunny. And look at it today. It's kind of cloudy. But that doesn't mean the season's changed yet. It's not going to change for a while. Yes, summer, fall, winter, and then spring. And it goes back around again. Yes, sunsets at the beach are really special. Yeah. Sometimes sounds change. You can hear lots of noise. Or sometimes it's so very quiet that you can hear a bird fly. That's a change. Huh. Like that. With little tiny legs. You know, sometimes things change because of accidents. Sometimes the accidents are small. Like yesterday, when we were having dinner at my house, I knocked over a glass with water in it all over the table. It didn't break the glass, but it made water and ice go everywhere. Sometimes accidents are big. Like, sometimes cars have accidents, and sometimes the cars have to get fixed. And that's a change. That's a big change. Or sometimes you have to change the oil in your car. And for grown-ups, that's a hassle, isn't it? Yeah. People change. I bet one day you were much smaller than you are today. Maybe when you were born, you were a baby. How old are you? You were born 0, and now you are. And you're 4, so you've grown for 4 years. That's great. You're 5. I'm 72. That's a lot of years. I've been growing and changing. Yeah. Sometimes your height changes. You start out very little, and then you get bigger and bigger. Like probably last year when you were 3, you had pants that were much shorter to wear. And now that you've grown, the pants don't fit anymore. Yeah, or your shoes get too small and you have to change your clothes. You know what else changes? Feelings. Sometimes you feel really happy. And sometimes you can get mad or frustrated or angry or very joyous. There's lots of feelings. Yeah. And moods change. Sometimes you can feel pretty good, and sometimes you can feel not so good. Sometimes you wish you had somebody to talk to, and sometimes you just want to be alone. Sometimes tastes change. What's your favorite food right now? Mac and cheese. A lot of people like mac and cheese. Cupcakes and cake. But you know what? Sometimes, maybe when you're a little bigger, your taste will change and your favorite food might be enchiladas. Or your favorite food might be chicken and rice. Or maybe hot sauce. So tastes change as you get older. Yeah. You know, we can make changes too. We can make things change on purpose. We can change the land. We can plant a tree and watch it grow, grow, grow. In our yard, we have a pine tree that could probably reach up to the ceiling, but when it was planted quite a few years ago by our grandson, it was just a little seedling. But the pine tree has grown, grown, grown up, and now it makes shade and a place for birds to live, and it's a wonderful thing. So planting trees is good. Yeah. And people can change things themselves. You can decide to make changes. Like you might need to change your clothes. Or you might need to change the way that you think. It's okay to change. Change is good. You could change your glasses and your shoes. You know, yeah. You know what? As life goes on, things change. You can start from a little tiny egg, and it can grow into a caterpillar. Have you ever seen a caterpillar? And after the caterpillar grows for a while, it might make a chrysalis. And it may go to sleep for a few weeks. And when it wakes up, do you know what it is? A butterfly. Just like each and every one of you can be a butterfly. Flap, flap, flap. So we can change a lot, huh? Changes are good. Sometimes it makes us sad when we have to change, but change is really good. Well, I think it might be time to change your space from here to where you can go and do some things in the RE section. So if our friends in the middle aisle would make a love arch for the children to walk through, then we can sing them a little song.
You should have seen their faces. I'm lucky I get to sit up here instead. So if you could, please join me in a moment of prayer. But how shall we pray? First, let's be together in silence. Just listen to the sounds of this room. Listen to the sounds coming from outside. Listen very carefully and see if you can hear the sounds of the children down in the RE wing. Listen to the beating of your heart. Listen to your breath. Next, let's feel gratitude for our beautiful sanctuary, for our family, our friends, and all the wonders of the world we live in. Let's hold in our hearts all those, known and unknown, who are in need, in pain, or experiencing great sorrow. But let's be mindful that in spite of hardships, frustration, and the frightening events that are taking place in the world around us, we have so much to be grateful for. Let's remember that alone, we cannot solve all the woes and sorrows of the world, but we can make a difference every day with simple things like sharing a few moments of our time, sharing a smile, or even a bottle of water. So let's sit for just a moment in silence, I'll ring the bell, and form our own prayers out of the concerns and gratitude in our hearts.
Good morning. There's more of you than I thought. My name is Margaret Gregg, and I'm one of your Lifeline's ministers. We have some joys this morning, and I have to confess to you, I've just gotten back from Ohio. And when I tried to get on Breeze to see if anyone had done online joys and sorrows, I couldn't find them. So if you've written any, I am so sorry. We will get to them next week. But for now, I have my own joy to share. Friday, I was gifted with the opportunity to spend some time with some of our UU members who live at Capitol Manor. We had a wonderful conversation together over lunch, and I just want to say a quick hello to Joe, Andrea, Phil, Grant, George, Elsa, Mako, Jean, and the Zygons. It was a wonderful opportunity, and I know most of you are at home watching. So hello, everyone. Thank you for a great lunch. As we do each Sunday, we light one more candle for those private joys or sorrows that remain unspoken in our hearts. Lifeline's lay ministers are fellow members who extend the ministry to members and friends of the congregation who are experiencing loss, illness, or any type of personal or family crisis. You can reach out to us by visiting the Lifeline's table in Hanneman Hall. We have it there every Sunday for the coffee hour. Our badges have a little green ribbon, and we have these green stoles that identify us as a Lifeline team member. You can also contact us, and it's up there on the reader board at the email address, or post your joys and sorrows in the book in the foyer in the church. There's a link under the title of the next Sunday service. Thank you all, and have a great week.
Comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, oh my soul. Comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, oh my soul. Sing with me, sing with me, sing with me, oh my soul. Sing with me, sing with me, sing with me, oh my soul. Speak for me. for me, oh my soul. Comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, oh my soul. Dance with me, dance with me, dance with me, dance with me, oh my soul. Dance with me, dance with me, dance with me, oh my soul. Comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, oh my soul. Comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, oh my soul.
For the sun and the dawn, which we did not create. For the moon and the evening, which we did not make. For the food, which we plant, but cannot grow. For friends and loved ones, we have not earned and cannot buy. For this gathered company, which welcomes us as we are, from wherever we have come. For all our free churches that keep us human and encourage us in our quest for beauty, truth, and love. For all things which come to us as gifts of being from sources beyond ourselves, gifts of love and life and friendship. We lift up our hearts in thanks this day.
Well, some of you came back. Hi, I'm Gregg. I'm your homilist for today. And years ago, I saw a movie, a low-budget movie called Powwow Highway. And one of the characters was a Navajo named Filbert, who bought a used car from a junkyard out in Arizona somewhere. He was bargaining with the junkyard owner, and as he looked out the window of the trailer that served as the junkyard office, at this yard full of beat-up, rusted-out old wrecks, they suddenly became, in his mind, a herd of beautiful horses cantering across the desert. And he finally settled on one rusted-out luxury car from the late 50s or early 60s, and traded a handful of mostly dollar bills and a pint of whiskey for it. With great difficulty, he got the car started, and then he ripped the plastic Jesus off the dashboard, threw it out the window, gave a big war whoop, and drove off in a cloud of blue engine smoke. That car became one of the main characters in the movie, and I always remembered it whenever I went to a junkyard to get parts for a used car. A junkyard and a Pinto loom large in today's story. This story took place in Anchorage, Alaska in the 1980s. I have to admit that it was because I'm a bit of a skinflint that I did most of the repairs on my own vehicles, and I always bought used cars. Whenever I bought a car, I would buy the repair manual for it. And after the 1970s, the repair manuals usually came with an estimated time to make a particular repair. And I found that they were pretty accurate if I just multiplied by 4. Anyway, I was usually able to keep my cars running without paying a mechanic. I'm sure some of us remember the old Ford Pintos, the ones with the exploding gas tanks. I had one of those. It wasn't exactly a hatchback. It was more of a station wagon. There it is. That's it. With wood grain plastic on the side panels. I figured it would be visible on the road, and I never imagined that it would become a target. I think my Pinto was cursed, because in the 2 years I had it, it was in 4 accidents, and I want you to imagine some mysterious and ominous music in your mind, because there was no one in the car in any of those accidents. One time, for example, a taxi driver stopped across the street at an apartment complex to pick up his fare, and he got out to help the passenger load his suitcase and forgot and left his car in reverse, and it backed across the street into the side of the Pinto. The poor guy asked me not to report the accident because he was going to lose his job. I guess maybe he'd had some other accidents. So he gave me enough money to go get a new door at the junkyard, so I did that. I was able to find another door, but of course it was a different color. Yellow. Another time I was walking home from the Quickie Mart, which was just up the road, and I noticed an orange fender lying in the road. It looked familiar. My Pinto was sitting right where I left it, parked between 2 cars. The 2 cars were without damage, but the Pinto was without fender. And as the fender was pretty badly bent, I had to go back to the junkyard, and luckily, I found one that was in good shape. It was powder blue. Being of an artistic temperament, the car began to interest me strangely. And I began referring to it as the magnet of destruction, which turned out to be prophetic because not long after that, Mr. Sampson, who was in his 80s and had no car insurance, turned the corner too quickly and ran into the back of my neighbor's car. As luck would have it, he had left his car in neutral and not set the brake. That his car had no choice. It rolled down the street about a half a block, picking up speed, right into the back of a Pinto. The car did not explode, but the door was bent, back door was bent so badly I had to tie it closed with a rope. The guy at the junkyard had just gotten in a wrecked Pinto red, sold me the back door. He knew me by name now. Despite my masochistic attachment to that car, my wife convinced me that it might be a good idea to get a different car, and I decided to take it to the junkyard, despite the fact that it was running okay, but I felt it would be more at home there. Now, I had a longtime friend, a single mom, and when she found out I was going to junk the car, she asked if she could buy it. Well, I told her the story of the car, which she already knew, but she wanted it, and she insisted on giving me $200 for it. So, and she told me that she could park it off the street, so it would be safe. Her driveway was packed snow, just like everybody else's, but she used kitty litter on it, so it wasn't all that slippery. And I eventually relented because she was so depressed about not having transportation. Not surprisingly, however, a few weeks later, Kathy called to tell me that someone had pulled into the driveway too quickly. And although they didn't do too much damage to the car, she was now having trouble with the clutch. I figured I owed her a clutch job for taking her $200 for the Pinto. And the only place available to do the repair was in Kathy's driveway. Since every repair I had done on the car so far was just exchanging body parts, this would be the first actual mechanical repair on this Pinto. And Kathy's boyfriend, Jim, generously offered to help me put in the new clutch. Now, Jim was self-employed making trinkets for the tourist trade. I don't know if he ever had a real job, a regular job, but he managed to get by carving harbor seal rookeries out of fossilized walrus ivory. And it turned out that Jim's expertise with harbor seals was not exactly transferable to auto mechanics. After about 20 minutes of handing me wrenches while I was under the Pinto with a drop light removing bolts, he decided we needed a break for coffee. It was around 10 degrees Fahrenheit, and he was definitely not dressed for the weather. And as this was not my first cold weather driveway repair job, I was wearing my down parka, my snow pants, my bunny boots. Bunny boots, in case you don't know what they were something they developed for the military, and they were big white plastic boots filled with air. And so they kept your feet nice and toasty in Arctic weather. They also made you look a little like Mickey Mouse. They ran about $30 at the Army-Navy surplus store, so I told Jim I wasn't cold and to take a break while I kept working. A number of hours later, as I was attempting to balance the 90-pound transmission and line up the pilot bearing with a clutch plate, working around the disconnected drive shaft without knocking the bearing out of place for the 5th time, I began to get a little bit huffy, thinking how much easier it would be if I had another set of hands. It was about at this point that I noticed there was a strong, pungent odor. Evidently, the packed snow was melting with my body heat, and with it, the kitty litter. I should have known that Kathy was too broke to afford fresh kitty litter for her driveway. With everything lined up, there was no way I could stop. So I just kept working and finally finished tightening the endless bolts that held the thing together. I have to admit that I had a few bolts left over. But when I pushed down on the clutch, it worked. My success lifted my mood considerably, and I all but forgot my irritation about being abandoned by my helper. At last, I was able to take off all my cold weather gear, now decorated in fragrant shades of kitty camo, before I went inside to let Kathy know that the job was done. When I opened the door, however, Jim and Kathy were on the couch, pounding on the wall and shouting at each other at the top of their lungs. I thought they were about to come to blows, I thought this was a big fight starting. But when I asked what was going on, they both shouted, "The Bulls won!" They were big fans of the Chicago Bulls football team. I have to admit, I felt the steam beginning to escape through my ears because I had been rolling around in cat poop while they were watching football game. But Kathy was instantly so grateful to have her car back before I had the chance to tell them both off She gave me a big hug and a white crocheted hat with a red pom-pom on top that she had made herself. I was still angry, but Kathy's gratitude diffused my anger, and instead of blowing up, I went home and took a hot shower. Later, after my shower, it occurred to me how demoralized Kathy had been about the car and how Jim had completely taken her mind off her anxiety and her troubles and turned a lot of worry into a joyful moment. I admit it took me some time to see that Jim and I were part of a team, both working to lift our friend's spirit. I did what I could, and Jim did what he could. It was Kathy's grateful reaction that created that pause that I now try to recreate whenever I feel anger rising. In the end, I came out ahead with a successful repair job, a homemade hat, and a hot shower, and all it cost me was a washer load full of clothes. I figured Jim might not have been all that much help with the car, but he was successful in diverting Kathy's anxiety. And since I was never a big football fan, it was something that I couldn't have done. Instead, I had the glory of rescuing my friend, and I wore that hat for years until it finally fell apart. Looking back, it's easy to begin feeling abused when I took part in that collaborative project. In any such project, there's usually a multitude of jobs, and some require more effort than others. But each job is important to the success of the venture. I wasn't able to thank Jim for his contribution until I had thought about it for quite a while. But I first needed an opportunity to change my perspective. I've found that changing perspective is one of the most important and difficult skills I've learned on my spiritual journey. When I was younger, I had a much harder time of it than I do now, but that was the part of my life when I was still under the illusion that I was the center of the universe. Fortunately, life and my wife and family have sorted me out about that. When I was young, my ego automatically awarded itself the lofty central position, but that was before I learned how to view myself a little more objectively. While the search for truth and meaning had provided me a better perspective, I have discovered that there are usually a number of different ways to see most events in our lives. It was the practice of changing my point of view about things that I perceived as a personal affront by my friends and family that helped me realize how important a flexible perspective is to my relationships and my spiritual growth. I came to realize that we change perspective all the time, sometimes without recognizing it. An ego can either be an obstacle to changing our point of view or a motivating factor. One of Reverend Rick's favorite characters, the Mullah Nasruddin, an 11th century Sufi spiritual teacher from what is now Turkey, illustrates how easily we are able to change perspective when it suits us. Now, Nasruddin had a reputation as a learned man and occasionally acted as magistrate. One day, one of his neighbors came to him to ask an opinion on a point of law. Mullah, the neighbor said, "I'm terribly sorry to report this, but your bull gored my cow. Am I entitled under the law to compensation for the injury to my cow?" "Ridiculous," said Nasruddin. "How can a man be held responsible for the acts of an animal?" Then his crafty neighbor said, "I'm sorry, Mullah. I was a little confused. I got my story back to front. It was my bull that gored your cow." "Oh," said Mullah, "that changes everything. I must first read the law books. There are likely to be consequences." When it's to our advantage, perspective is as easy to change as underwear. From the perspective of a car mechanic, the goal was a successful clutch job. but from the perspective of a friend, the goal was to lift my friend's spirit. A hot shower and a change of clothes allowed me time to recognize my anger was ego-driven and to change my perspective. This is not always easy to do because I tend to get caught up in my immediate emotions and react instinctively. The trick Jim and Kathy taught me was to recognize my internal state before I react. I'm angry. In the grip of strong emotions, it's difficult to stop and find my center, and sometimes I'm not successful. Those times when I react instinctively with anger, I try to apologize as soon as I can and go find someplace quiet. When I find my center, I acquire a perspective from which I can see events without emotional distortions. Sometimes it's as simple as not having to be right all the time, or how important is it in the great cosmos that it's worth endangering a treasured relationship. And so I leave you with this. Learning to change perspective has been one of the best experiences in my spiritual journey, and I highly recommend it. And 2, never buy a used orange Pinto station wagon. May we be the life within us, and thank you so much for your attention. Oh, we're going to do some meditation. Okay, let's get relaxed. Close your eyes. Let yourself kind of go limp. Now, I often meditate using a mantra. There are 2 I use regularly. One everyone knows is Om, and I have a problem with it. Lately, I've been having trouble with how I hear Om when I meditate. There are 2 parts, the O part and the M part. My problem is that when I think I should be able to hear it as one sound. I'm going to ask the people on the right side of the sanctuary to say the O part, and the people on the left side to say the part. And just like you're using a mantra, Om, only you don't do the 2 parts, you just do one. That way, we can all hear what the one sound sounds like. Okay? All right. And just do it naturally, hold it just as long as it feels comfortable, and then start over. Oh, oh, All right, now, just breathe, be aware of your breath as you breathe quietly in and out and sink into your center. I don't know about you, but that sound was different than what I expected. It was quite interesting. Gave me chills. Thank you so much.
The practice of taking a collection each Sunday is not just a tired ritual we've inherited from our forebears. Okay, so we have inherited it from our forebears, but it's still significant. We are self-funded, and we have need of financial support. Not only to support the programs we offer to our members and friends, but also for the many, many ministries we support in the community. There's probably a lot more than you know that we support out and about in Salem and the greater Oregon. This month, we are sharing the plate with Oregon Black pioneers who preserve and share the extraordinary stories of Oregon's Black history. I just went to the End of the Trail Museum again. I love that place. And was fascinated by some of the stories that they have about our Black pioneers. I encourage you to look more into that. We also support the Marion Polk Food Share through donations which can be placed in the little red wagon that came to the front of the sanctuary. Donations may be made during the passing of the baskets or by using the QR code that's on the handout that you got when you came in, or through the website at uusalem.org. Thank you, thank you, thank you for your generosity.
This is a song I wrote more recently called Sound the Bell. It's about climate change. And it's got a chorus that I like it. It's a call repeat. So when I yell, sound the bell, you yell, sound the bell back, and give a yell, and you yell, give a yell back. Let's try it. Sound the bell, sound the bell, ring the alarm from sea to sea and ring it well. Give a yell, give a yell, tell everyone you know to sound the bell. From the Arctic to the Amazon, our planet's plan is changing. Our part in this is crystal clear, our weather rearranging. Will we watch and wait with this disaster in the making? It's up to us to sound the bell so all of us are waking. Sound the bell, sound the bell, ring the alarm from sea to sea and ring it well. Give a yell, give a yell, tell everyone you know to sound the bell. The earth is heating up and our carbon is to blame. We all must do our part or it will never be the same. Cut back on those emissions and prepare to stem the tide. If not, we'll be accomplices to global suicide. Sound the bell, sound the bell, ring the alarm from sea to sea and ring it well. Give a yell, give a yell, tell everyone you know to sound the bell. How many fires, how many superstorms, how many drought years must become the norm? How many floods, how many icebergs gone? How long will Earth sustain the ground we walk upon? Sound the bell, sound the bell, ring the alarm from sea to sea and ring it well. Give a yell, give a yell, tell everyone you know to sound the bell. We see our carbon footprints tread the lands of our birth, the polluted heavens raining down a deadly hell on earth. Will you hide in your bunkers where your money is no good? What will your kids inherit, 'cause you won't do what you should? Sound the bell, sound the bell. Ring the alarm from sea to sea and ring it well. Give a yell, give a yell. Tell everyone you know to sound the bell. How many tornadoes? How many hurricanes? How many heat-related deaths? How many flooded plains? Half the world is in the drought, other half is flooded. Will you step up to the plate, or are you that cold-blooded? Sound the bell, sound the bell. Ring the alarm from sea to sea and ring it well. Give a yell, give a yell. Tell everyone you know to sound the bell. From the Arctic to the Amazon, our planet's plan is changing. Our part in this is crystal clear, our weather rearranging. Will we watch and wait with this disaster in the making? It's up to us to sound the bell, so all of us are waking. Sound the bell, sound the bell. Ring the alarm from sea to sea and ring it well. Give a yell, give a yell. Tell everyone you know to sound the bell. One more time, sound the bell, sound the bell. Ring the alarm from sea to sea and ring it well. Give a yell, give a yell. Tell everyone you know to sound the bell. Tell everyone you know to sound the bell. Tell everyone you know to sound the bell.
Thank you for sharing your music with us today. That was wonderful. Okay, next Sunday, one of our newer homilists and storytellers, Craig Rowland, will be talking to us about faith and fellowship, a UU perspective. In UU, we are asked to have faith in other people, in conventional relationships, and in the democratic process. Is it harder to have faith in people or a deity? That's a pretty tough question. I'm interested in hearing what Craig has to say about that. It's time to sign up for Chalice Circles or Connections groups. So these are open to everyone. And if this is something you'd like to be part of, please register on the website at uusalem.org. Go to homepage, hot topics, just follow what's on there. Or you can drop by and talk to Sarah today afterwards in the fellowship hall. There's a little QR code there, but if you want to run up here and, do that right now, that's fine. But otherwise, I'd suggest the other ways of doing that. Family Promise is coming again. If anybody has not done Family Promise, and I don't think there's very many of you, you really, this is such an awesome thing to do. You meet the most interesting people, you get to help them out, and I would just really encourage you to be a part of this whenever you can. These are the times that it's going to be there, August 11th through August 18th. They're actually here in our building. We house them for a week. We help them with all kinds of stuff. So please, either contact the people that are going to be in the fellowship hall to help you sign up, or go to Family Promise at uusalem.org. Thank you. Let's see if there's anything more. So, if you don't receive our monthly newsletter and our Friday email, we like to call it the Friday Blast, then you're missing out. And you know what? We don't even charge you for it. So if you would like to get that information, which keeps you up to date on everything happening at UUCS, go ahead and email office@uusalem.org. Give them a phone call, whatever works for you, but go ahead and get yourself on that list. Okay, Greg, can you bring forward the social justice lantern? I know I'm not talking in the mic, sorry. We light this lantern every Sunday from the flame of our own chalice in recognition of the many ways that you, the members and friends of UUCS, share your gifts in the wider world. Together, we have enjoyed the warmth and beauty of the stories and words spoken here. The flames of our chalices, the songs we've sung, and of this community. As our chalice flames are extinguished this morning, let's remember that the glow is carried in us. We can use our inner lights to kindle new sparks throughout our lives and in the world. May the spirit of peace and togetherness bless all our lives.
Closing in? Please rise in body and spirit as you are able as we sing our closing hymn, which is number 346, Come Sing a Song with Me. Come sing a song with me. Come sing a song with me. Come sing a song with me, that I might know you're mine. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Come dream a dream with me. Come dream a dream with me. Come dream a dream with me, that I might know you're mine. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Come walk in rain with me. Come walk in rain with me. Come walk in rain with me, that I might know you're mine. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Come share a rose with me. Come share a rose with me. Come share a rose with me, that I might know you're mine. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time.
If you would all join hands, if you're comfortable with that, and join me in our closing words. May faith in the spirit of life, hope for the community of earth, and love for the sacred in one another be ours now and in all the days to come.